It's easy to hear a statistic and just dismiss it. This many people died of car accidents this year, this many people died of suicide or cancer. It's very easy in your mind to dismiss something like that because we get so caught up in hearing bad news every day. I think we're almost desensitized to the fact of tragedy. 4.3 million people died of COVID in the world. Now, some people may hear that and go, oh, that sucks. I look at that and I go, that's 4.3 million different stories. Everybody in that number had a different life. There were different ages. There were different genders. There were different races. It was many, many different people. And it's sad. It really is sad. I had a personal experience. My grandfather, who's in a nursing home, I hadn't seen him in a year, almost 2 years because of COVID. And he got very, very sick. And he got very sick with COVID. And I remember the nursing home actually called our house and said, we only think he has a couple more days. We think he's going to pass. And I remember just being in shock, because, he has his health issues, but just the fact they were so certain that he was going to die scared me, By a miracle of God, he did make a recovery. He was literally on his deathbed. He couldn't breathe. He needed an oxygen machine, and he just made a comeback, and I think that's amazing. But unfortunately, that's not a lot of people's story. A lot of people succumb to the horrible disease that is COVID. There are people who didn't get to see their grandparents for a year, and then they passed away due to COVID, or their mother, or their father, or their brother, or whoever, and they passed away because of COVID before they got to see them. I don't know about you, but the thought of that really rattles me because I almost experienced the loss of someone from COVID, and it's not a good feeling. It's a lot of worry. It's a lot of panic. It's an unpredictable disease. He was totally fine on some days, and then there were some days they were pretty much calling us saying he's gravely ill and this could be the end. Countries all over, United States, I think right now is 35.8 million cases, and they've had 617,000 deaths. India's had 32 million cases active right now and 428,000 deaths. That's a lot of people. There are so many people right now in the world mourning the loss of someone because of this disease. I can't stop thinking about that. People have reported a lot of different things after getting the virus. It's just a weird time to be in the world. It's a tough time to be in the world. And you have to be so mentally strong. And I feel so terrible as well for kids because they'll never experience those years again. And they have to grow up wearing masks at school and talking to people in such a way that I don't think we should ever talk to people, like socially distanced and wearing masks, and everybody's afraid of each other, and kids are probably making fun of each other for wearing a certain mask, or, oh, your mask isn't cool. Or, there's just so many things that children are being exposed to that they don't need to be. Their lives are at risk. They're graduating from grade 8 or grade 12, and they're not having a normal graduation. They're not getting to go to prom like past classes have, or they're not getting to properly celebrate with every family member because there's a social distance and there's a certain amount of people that can only come to these ceremonies. So you have to literally choose family members to come to your graduation. Such an important milestone, such an important moment in your life that is getting ruined literally by this disease. There are elderly people in nursing homes that are just begging to see their daughter or their son or their family, and they just can't because of this, these lockdowns. And I've heard stories, unfortunately, of people who were put in nursing homes during COVID or just before it, and with the family members promising to come back, we'll be back, we're going to visit you, we love you, and they never got to see them again. This life is short. We get 100 years maximum. That's not a lot of time when you think about it. We don't know when we're going to pass away. We don't know when other people are going to pass away, but we're getting years taken away from us, prime years. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're 10. I don't care if you're 30. I don't care if you're 90. Every year is a blessing. Every day is a blessing. Every day is a gift. Every week, every month, every year. And I just feel terrible that I know, although we're trying to combat this horrible disease by doing these health measures and doing these lockdowns, I understand the principle and the thinking behind it, but you can't dismiss the fact that time goes on no matter what. And there are people who have just been robbed of good years because of this. How many more years this pandemic will go on, I do not know. How many more people will die, that I also do not know. But my heart will always be out for those people. Everyone I've just mentioned, the kids who aren't getting to live a normal childhood, that are taught not to talk to people, stay away, go online, to college students, the elderly, the people that never got to see their grandparents again or their family again due to them passing away from COVID. Anyone who's just experienced a loss in some way, my heart is absolutely out for them.